So here's the thing about anime release calendars in 2026. We're at this strange, almost overwhelming moment where legacy franchises, video game adaptations, manhwa heavyweights, and quiet character dramas are all landing in the same 12 months. And somehow, none of them feels like filler. I sat down to put this list together expecting to struggle past number 6. I ended up cutting shows I genuinely wanted to talk about. That's where we are right now. The industry is firing on cylinders most of us didn't know existed. A quick note before we dive in, order isn't strict ranking, it's more vibes than science. If your most hyped show isn't here, drop it in the comments. I want to know what I'm sleeping on. Let's get into it. Look, I've been carrying the trauma of Bleach's rushed manga ending since 2016, and that wound has never fully closed for me. Core 4, The Calamity, is the chapter I've waited an entire decade to see done properly. Piero's TYBW reboot has been operating on a different frequency entirely. The lighting choices, the choreography, the way Yuha moves like a god who's already won the fight. Now we're heading into Ichigo's final confrontation, including the scenes Kubo specifically redrew for this adaptation and the beats that got butchered in the original run. I'm bracing for emotional damage. Aizen is somewhere in there pulling threads, friends fall, closure is coming. Whatever shape it actually takes, I want to be in the room when Bleach finally finishes its sentence.
39年ぶりにあのお方が宇宙一強い破壊神ビルス様が目を覚まされている破壊神ビルス破壊の神様僕はね眠いんだよ待て
After Daima, I had no idea in which direction the franchise was headed next. A Beerus-focused project wasn't on my bingo card, and that's exactly why I'm so intrigued. Beerus has always been Dragon Ball's most fascinating wild card. A god of destruction who'd rather sleep than fight, whose moods can casually level planets. Pulling him out of the supporting cast and giving him real narrative weight feels long overdue. Toyotaro's involvement keeps me hopeful, and the visual identity from the early trailers looks more polished than Super's rougher first episodes. I'm cautious. This franchise has burned me before, but honestly, the prospect of finally exploring Beerus' history, his rivalry with Champa, the lore of the Hakaishin, that's the Dragon Ball curiosity I haven't felt in years. Period. Picture the moment in Sekiro where you finally land Genichiro's deathblow after 20 failed attempts. That exhale, that buzz, that earned silence. Now imagine an animation studio building an entire series around that exact feeling. No Defeat is From Software's first proper anime adaptation, helmed by Qzilla, and the staff list reads like someone collected every action animator with a chip on their shoulder. Wolf's story doesn't need padding. It's already a tragedy wrapped in immaculate sword choreography. What I want to see is whether the show can capture Sekiro's specific rhythm, the way the game asks you to listen before you strike. If it nails the parry, the prosthetic tools, the unsettling beauty of Ashina's decay, this could become the new gold standard for game-to-anime adaptations going forward. Cyberpunk is going through one of those rare cultural moments where everyone suddenly remembers it exists, which makes a new Ghost in the Shell series perfectly timed and slightly terrifying. The franchise carries weight few properties can match. Oshii's 1995 film alone shaped 2 generations of science fiction filmmaking, so pulling Motoko Kusanagi back into a 2026 anime context isn't a casual undertaking. What I'm watching for is restraint. The best Ghost in the Shell stories have always whispered rather than shouted, asking quiet questions about consciousness and identity inside surveillance states that feel uncomfortably close to ours. If the new series respects that meditative DNA while updating the visual grammar, we get something special. If it chases spectacle, we get a brand exercise. I'm hoping for the former.
series is about your twin brother.
You learned how to make an entrance. That's new.
I hoped it would be you, little brother.
Season 1 ended on the kind of cliffhanger that makes you immediately resent the producers, and I haven't forgiven them for it yet. Adi Shankar's Devil May Cry pulled off something most game adaptations can't even dream of. It captured the swagger, Dante's smirk, the absurd combat tempo, the soundtrack that treated decapitation like a guitar solo. Everything clicked. Season 2 inherits a heavier emotional load. Virgil is presumably entering the picture properly, the demonic politics are about to get genuinely messy, and Lady's arc has more terrain to cover. What I want is for the show to keep its sense of humor while really leaning into the tragedy underneath. Devil May Cry is opera dressed as action, fundamentally, and Shankar seems to actually understand that. Bring it on.
If you are enjoying this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks.
俺は支配の道を選ぶ。とにかくそいつは俺のもんだ。お前らなんかには絶対に従わない。負けを認めないって言うなら破壊してやるまでだ。
Manhwa adaptations have had an uneven track record, and I'm so tired of pretending otherwise. For every solo leveling that lands, there's 3 that fumble the source's specific energy. Tomb Raider King is walking into that minefield with one of the more entertaining premises in the genre. Suho Kim using future knowledge to claim relics before anyone else can, weaponizing memory as much as muscle. The series has the kind of escalation curve animation can either make iconic or absolutely ruin, depending on the action direction. I'm watching for the small stuff, how they handle the relic designs, the pacing of his rise, the sense of stakes when consequences catch up. Get those right, this becomes a real conversation. Get them wrong, and we'll be having a different one.
5枚目には悪魔が住む。
今ここで限界を超える。一緒に闇団長を迎えに行こう。限界を超えて。
It's been so long since the original Black Clover anime ended that I had to fully rewatch the final arc to remind myself where Asta even left off. The hiatus has felt geological. Pyro Connect taking over the production gives me cautious optimism. They've got something to prove, and the Sword of the Wizard King movie clearly demonstrated they could handle the visuals. Now, we're entering the Spade Kingdom aftermath and barreling toward the final page arc, which is where Tabata really pushed the narrative into bigger, weirder territory. I missed Yuno's quiet menace. I missed Noelle's growth. Mostly, I missed how Black Clover earns its emotional payoffs through sheer accumulated effort. If the new season carries that same conviction, the wait will have been worth every excruciating month.
そこに書いてあるのは、今後この国に起こりうることです。
まさか。
人士様、何かご用でしょうか。
Mao Mao is back! And frankly, I'm so ready, I've already cleared a viewing slot in my schedule. The first 2 seasons quietly built one of the smartest shows on television, a costume mystery wrapped in pharmacology, court politics, and one of the most uniquely strange protagonists in modern anime. OLM understood the assignment from episode 1. Season 3 picks up with the political stakes considerably higher, and Mao Mao's relationship with Jinchi continuing its slow, deliberately frustrating dance. What I love about this series is how confident it is in its own pace. It trusts you to lean in. No flashy gimmicks, no wasted scenes, just a brilliant, semi-feral pharmacist solving problems no one else even realizes exists. If season 3 holds the line, we're looking at a generational classic.
なんかデジャブだなって。次は何を持たせてくれるの？
俺、千夏先輩に言いたいことが。
There's a specific kind of ache Blue Box specializes in, the quiet thrill of being 17 and standing close to someone you can't quite read. Season 1 understood that ache better than any sports romance I've watched in years, and it never raised its voice to make a point. Telecom animation film let the silences breathe. Now Season 2 has to navigate the trickier territory, feelings becoming visible, friendships shifting under pressure, the way ambition and affection start tangling for both Taiki and Chinatsu. I'm hoping the show resists the temptation to turn dramatic. The whole charm of Blue Box is its restraint, where a shared bus ride can carry more weight than a confession. Give me more of that, and I'll watch every episode the morning it airs.
目覚めたか。俺はジロー。お前名前は？
俺の名はラゴー。悠久の時を生きる。
What if I told you there's a Shonen Jump series from 2017 that got canceled before it could find its audience, and the anime adaptation finally arrives in 2026? Black Torch is one of those small, sharp manga that always deserved better than its publishing run. Jiro Azuma can communicate with animals. He ends up fused with a Black Panther spirit recruited into a hidden government division hunting yokai. The premise sounds standard, but Takaki's art and pacing made the original feel connected in a way most short-lived series can't match. The 2026 adaptation gives Black Torch a second life, and I'm rooting for it, specifically because the underdog stories in this medium are the ones that surprise people. Quietly excited. This one might pull off something properly unexpected.
And that's the list. 10 shows, wildly different tones, one shared truth. 2026 is going to demand a lot of our watch time, and I'm not even mad about it. I want to hear from you, though. Which of these are you actually excited for, and which ones am I overhyping in my own head? More importantly, what did I miss? There were at least 4 shows that almost made the cut, and I'm curious whether the ones I left off are the ones you would have pushed to the top. Comment section's open. I read them. Sometimes I even argue back. If this video was your kind of thing, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, ring the bell if you're into bells, all that good stuff. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves, watch something great this week, and try not to start any anime discourse you can't finish. Peace.